Hey everyone, this is Paige Onweller, and this is the first race recap of the 2026 season. This past weekend, MidSouth happened, and man, it was a blast. I'm going to go through what I thought of having the pros race on Friday, how my race unfolded with a 9-up women's sprint, and I'm also going to touch on the media vehicle incident and how I'm feeling about everything. But first, let's go through some of my equipment choices for the MidSouth 2026. For bike, I raced the Trek Checkmate. This is the fast, racy, snappy bike that they offer in the gravel lineup. Was really happy with that choice. For wheels, I was running the DT Swiss GRC 1100s in the 50 mil depth. I was running Orange Seal. Can't see that, but it is a really important product of my setup to help prevent flats. And for tires, Bike Tires Direct is getting me set up this year, and I opted for the Schwalbe G1Rs in a 45. However, the night before the race, I put a 50 mil in the front, just realizing that I wanted a little bit extra flat protection and cushion out there because it was a bit more chunky this year. For my drivetrain, usually what I do during recon weeks while I'm out there is I collect gear data. And by looking at the gear data that I did a 5-hour ride on a couple days before the race, I realized I could upgrade up to a 50-tooth chainring, which is what I ended up running. And I was on the Explorer setup, the 13 speed, so nice and quick, snappy shifting, less jumps, and this was a really dialed setup. I was happy I went this option. So now let's jump into the race footage and see what happened. MidSouth is a 106-mile gravel race that occurs in Stillwater, Oklahoma. The race is known for its casual, grassroots nature, welcoming and inclusive vibe, and of course, the infamous Bobby Hug. 3, 2, 1. This year, they changed the format to have the pro races on Friday afternoon. This was awesome because of the amount of people who came out to watch us at the start and finish. I thought the energy was really electric, and I loved that. Now, for this race, the weather was really mild. Most of you may know that MidSouth can historically be a pretty chaotic event if there's any mud in the forecast. It is clay-based roads, and so the mud is really not rideable and includes a lot of walking. But this year, everything was dry and smooth, and for the most part, there's really no major course selectors. There were a few technical sections that were very short, so in any rate, those are generally harder to create separations and breakaways early in the day. The wind was very mild, and generally on a course like this, the wind can be a large factor for how the race plays out. We had low winds most of the day, and we also started, majority of the course was tailwind or cross tail. So the speeds were high. That really didn't lend itself to a breakaway. The first split of the day that was the main selector initially was around mile 22. This was an MMR downhill section that had some ruts. And what ended up happening was things got strung out, and there was a group of about, I believe, 9 riders that were formed out of this group. Those riders included myself and my teammate Cecile, Emily Newsom, 2 specialized riders, Sophia and Guy. We had Sarah Lang, LDC, who has won this event multiple times in the past, and Cecily Decker. We also had Lauren Stevens in that group as well. It was generally a pretty classic road race, honestly. Attack, sit up, non-cohesion in the group. The main players that were working, I would say, were me and Cecile, Emily Newsom, and the specialized riders. Right here, you can see my teammate Cecile putting in a massive dig. You can see my power trying to hold onto her wheel. Emily Newsom then sends it to the left as she is great at attacks. I hop on her wheel. You can see that is quite an effort. We look back and we got a gap. So I go around her and I hit it a little bit more. Again, when you have this kind of effort, you're constantly looking back. What's the gap? You can see my power kind of fluctuating there. Still on it, still have a gap. And then eventually, when the group catches you, if they do, that's when you kind of sit up and someone might counterattack. And that's some of the tactics that were playing out there on race day, which was, in my opinion, a lot of fun. Next up, we see Guy from Specialized throw the attack. Cecile right on it. She closes it and covers it. Massive effort on her end to close that gap. I'm sitting 600 watts just to hold her wheel, and then we just motor and try to catch back on. This was a crosswind section. You can see the dust moving to the right there, which is why we're all the way to that right side of the road. And trying to gutter everyone else, trying to hold on there. So And now you can see the MidSouth media vehicle just there on the left. Of course, we're going to talk about some of this at the end of the video, but it did create some interesting dynamics out on race. Here's another attack that you'll see me follow. And again, more course traffic. We have a pro rider from the men's field falling off their media vehicle. And yeah, this is an attack from Emily that I followed. She hit the gas pretty hard, and I come around her knowing we have a gap. It's a slight uphill there, and we are about to turn left onto a crosswind section. So I actually thought this one could be good to stick, but again, the group just kept getting pulled back. Eventually, we were entering a long headwind section throughout the day, and I think after many attacks were thrown and chased back from a variety of riders, most of us just kind of sat in and tried to do the least amount of work possible. I would say that for the most part, this is bike racing. You kind of throw the attacks, trying to get away, and you keep trying. And for some people, and historically, I used to get frustrated with that, but I actually found it to be a lot of fun. It was awesome to have a teammate out there to cover attacks with and to kind of work for each other. That was a really new experience for me, and I'm really looking forward to doing more of that this year. So a little update, we're going to jump ahead to mile 80 roughly. This is the infamous Triple X road, which is a lot of times a crosswind and a deciding breaking point in the race, but this year was not the case. We were kind of clipping along here at 30 plus miles per hour. Again, you can see some vehicle traffic out there, which we'll discuss more later. But yeah, at this point, we kind of all knew that it was going to stick together probably up until the river crossing or the sprint finish. The river crossing, I believe, was around mile 87. There's two lines, one on the right upper side and one basically sending it through the river. Sophia entered first, Cecile was second, Cecily took the river line in third position, and I was fourth. We exited that section of the river, and Sophia had a gap. You can see her up the road. Cecily was in second. I was third with Cecile right with me. The three of us were working together to try to catch back onto Sophia. I looked back, I did see Lauren Stevens and Emily Newson bridging back the group together. What that meant is Specialized now had Sophia's teammate in our pack, and she often sat second wheel to block pulling through. That is a tactic, it's very smart, and basically if you're third wheel like Cecily is here, you have to know that and you gotta go around her. Otherwise, it's a person on the front doing all the work, and that was Cecile and myself trying to pull back that move. Eventually, I decided to make an attack on a small roller into Bovine Pass, and I was able to bridge back to Sophia on my own. The footage you're going to see here is the controversial footage that went out, and this did happen. It's hard to watch, but it has been addressed by MidSouth, and there are several measures being taken already in discussions that we've had to prevent this going forward. What ended up happening was the vehicle did not know the course very well. And Sophia is somewhat in front of the vehicle, making the left turn into the flags, following the course. The side-by-side vehicle did not know that the turn was there. Almost hits Sophia, corrects, did not know that I was present there, and then almost took me out. This obviously was a very emotional moment for me because of my history of getting hit back in August and the PTSD. We kind of both were caught off guard and really, this was very stressful. And I remember just asking Sophia, "Are you okay?" I went to go put my hand on her, but then I remembered she doesn't like physical contact. So I just basically, we had to take a moment to make sure we were okay. That moment cost us the group to catch back on. And after you've seen the footage, I do believe that this was preventable. And breaking things down, you can see that the vehicle did not know where the course was going. And I've been in direct conversations with MidSouth, and they've taken full responsibility. That's honestly quite rare to kind of own up to the mistake and to create a path going forward. So we believe the best path forward is having the athletes work directly with the event. And so we're aiming to somewhat form a committee where an elite rider who knows the course can talk with the event and the media and give them specific spots where it's really pivotal and important to go ahead or to not enter that section of the course. And I think it's really complicated to talk about safety. It's also unique to every event. And every event, more than anything, they need to also have good relationships with the community in these rural roads. We have to remember the elite field is only a very small portion of the racers in the event. And yes, our safety is our first priority, but with that, we as riders also have a responsibility to keep ourselves safe, not attacking through intersections, which did happen in our race, unfortunately. And then also looking both ways and keeping our group safe. No amount of prize money or event podium is worth risking your lives through those intersections. So I just wanted to point that out and bring attention that we all play a role in this safety. And the best path forward is to have conversations with athletes, media, and the event to move forward together. So at this point, unfortunately, the Insta360 died and don't have a lot of footage after that Bovine Pass incident. Bovine Pass comes about 10 miles out from the finish. You exit that area and then you have basically several miles of headwind for us. Our group of 9 kind of stayed together through that, and I kind of knew it was going to be a sprint finish. For me, I ended up getting 4th overall. I probably started my sprint too early, almost hit 1,000 watts, which is pretty cool. But it was a good learning point for me. It's still super early in the season. I have not been racing for a while, and Cecile and I are also learning our dynamics as teammates, and it was just really exciting and fun to have someone there with me at the finish working together. And we're looking forward to executing that better next time. But at the end of the day, I was just thankful to get to the finish line, and it was a very stressful day for me because I was triggered, and I appreciate so many people reaching out to me and asking how I was doing. And, in that moment too, I think what was really special, beside everything else that had just happened, having the event on Friday was actually really incredible. It was given Iceman vibes, actually, with how many people come down to the finish and cheer, and that was so special. I, of course, got my Bobby hug. I welcome that. And then I stayed around Saturday and watched the amateur fields. My partner, John, raced. He was 6th overall, which is super exciting. And I also made an ice sack for one of the first times, I think. And it was just such a fun weekend. It was a good experience. And I know that there's a lot of chatter online and on social media, but if you were at the event, you saw firsthand the community that MidSouth has created and the culture that event has created. And it was just a lot of fun. A lot of hugs happened, great music, good food, and great community. So thanks for watching, and looking forward to more of these race recaps coming your way this year.